Good morning. My name is Ron Greenwald, and this is my business partner, Patty Gerke, and we are the Greenwald Gerke Realty team. And before we get into our conversation today with an amazing guest, who I hope I can walk out of here after the show, so stay tuned for that. I do want to give a shout out to Compass. Patty and I have recently moved our practice over to a company called Compass. If you're not familiar with them here in San Diego or around the country, I suggest you do your homework. They have really embraced us with the Senior Stay or Go program. They are listening to us on how we can help seniors thrive, whether it's stay in their home and live a healthy and sane life while they age in place, or if they do want to move to a senior community or downsize, but we call it right-sizing. Compass has really embraced our passion for our seniors here in San Diego and around the country, so we give a shout out to them. So this is our new updated Field of Life board, and again, Patty and I focus on the outfield here, and we're in center field, working either with somebody who's looking to move to a senior community, and we work with contractors to help people age in place successfully and safely, and that's our passion and our mission. So with that said, I'm going to have Patty introduce our first guest today.
So our guest today is Gale Bryan. She is a self-defense instructor here in San Diego. She's had numerous years of training in self-defense, in taekwondo, and in rape prevention. She is continuing to spread the important life skill by adding presentations designed especially for seniors. So that's why we have Gale here today. Her mission is to bring this vital information to all interested persons, especially women and children. And she says that the best weapon against anything is your own body. This is such an important topic, and we really, really are glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
We know that situational awareness and intuition is about 90% of self-protection.
Right.
So what does a victim look like, and how do we not look like a victim?
Okay, well, first I want to talk about the awareness. So if you practice good prevention, you will probably never have to actually do any self-defense, and that's a good thing. So awareness means paying attention to your surroundings. So awareness is not staring at your cell phone, not listening to your earbuds, not digging through your purse, looking for your keys. And you can also be distracted but not look distracted if you're thinking about, oh, what did my kids say I was supposed to pick them up? I have that meeting with my boss tomorrow, it's really freaking me out. And you may not look distracted, but you're still not mentally in the place. Moment. So awareness means paying attention to your surroundings. So what we want you to do is look to see what people are around you. Are they men? Are they women? Are they families? Are they rowdy teenagers? Pay attention to where you are. Are you in a parking garage? Are you in a bad part of town? Look for things that look out of place. Like, let's say you're in a park with a bunch of moms and kids, and only moms and kids, and on a bench over there is sitting one lone guy with no kids of his own. I'm not saying he's a molester. I'm just saying it kind of looks odd. Just pay attention. Just keep your eye on him. If you go into the 7-Eleven in the middle of summer and it's 90 degrees outside and you see a guy walk in a big heavy jacket, it looks out of place. He may be hiding a weapon under his coat. So if I were you, I would get out of the 7-Eleven at that point. You can also train your brain on what to do to prevent yourself when you watch scary movies or police procedurals. You can pay attention to, if I were that person, is there anywhere I could run to? Is there a room I can lock myself in? Where are there some exits? Are there any people around? Are there any phones around? And then you can also look to see, okay, if I was grabbed like that victim was grabbed, how would I get out of it? Do I know how to get out of a wrist grab? Do I know how to get out of a front choke situation? And if you watch this or you take a class, you will know how to do those things. So every time you're watching TV, you're making a plan in your brain so that if you're ever in that situation, you can execute your plan. Now, the second part about awareness and prevention is intuition. And so you need to listen to your intuition. Now, a lot of women who have been attacked, who are interviewed afterwards, say, I had a feeling something was wrong, but I ignored it. And then they say, why'd you ignore it? And they said, I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, okay.
So
Rude to
the
individual?
attacker. So imagine you're standing alone on a floor after work. There's nobody there but you. You're waiting to get on an elevator. The elevator opens up, and inside is a guy that as soon as you see him, he like creeps you out. You think, oh God, I don't want to get in an elevator with him. And then your intellectual side kicks in and says, oh, come on, it's just a guy. I'm sure he's not a mass murderer or a serial killer. Just get in the elevator. It'll be okay. And instead of listening to your intuition, you cancel it out and you step into a steel, soundproof cage with a man you're afraid of. Now, there's no animal on the planet that will voluntarily get into a small space with an animal it's afraid of, except human beings. So if animals are smart enough to listen to their intuition, don't you think we should be?
So better response would have been, oh, geez, I forgot something at my desk. I need to go back and get it.
And that's those kind of things, you don't have to give him an excuse. You don't know this guy, but, oh, I forgot, or just turn around and go the other way. Take the next elevator. What's the worst that can happen? You're 5 minutes different, So those kind of things. So as far as what a victim looks like, victims look distracted, disoriented, lost, high, drunk, senile, crazy. They just look like they're not paying attention. And they've done studies in prison where they will show a bunch of people walking in a mall or down a street, and they'll show 100 different guys the same film, and they all pick out the same 7 people to attack. So there's some kind of a signal that you give off when you're not paying attention, or you're weak, or you're handicapped, or whatever, that they pick up on, and they will all pick the same person because they know it's going to be easy. They're not looking to get into a fight. They're looking for something that's simple, that they can get away quick, and that you're not going to attack them back.
So standing on the corner trying to figure out directions while your purse is on your shoulder is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, so if you're going to do that, if you really are lost, just walk like you know where you're going and stop into a store and then look at your map or make your phone call or look at your phone or whatever. Don't do it out there in the sidewalk so that everybody passing by can watch you.
Got it.
Well, since we're going to focus more on the senior community, is something that they can do specifically as a senior or as a retired who's out walking for a strolly walk?
I think just pay attention, But as far as senior crimes go, 92% of crimes against seniors are property crimes. So it's like purse snatching, mugging, and fraud. So that's good.
Fraud,
it's not violent crime, but the violent crime in America is out of 1,000 people, 19 will be violently attacked in the general population, but only 5 in the senior population. So that's another good thing. So senior crime, even though you hear about it a lot, it's not as bad as crime in the general population.
The physical crime, the fraud is very extensive.
The violent type of crime.
The violent.
Yeah.
So how difficult is it to learn self-defense?
Self-defense is easy. A lot of people think it's difficult, and that's why they, think I'm too old, I'm too little, I'm too whatever to do it. But if you can lift your pet, if you can pretend you're a cat, if you can point forwards or to the side, if you can pound your fist on a desk, if you can kick your file drawer shut, if you can lift up your purse, if you can throw a pie in somebody's face, if you can swing a bat or an axe. I've just taught you like 75% of self-defense. It's things that you do all the time, every day, except maybe the pie. And
we like to do that. Does anybody remember Soupy Sales?
Yes,
Okay.
So the point is that once you know these things, it's just like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. She had it all the time, that your own body is your best weapon against assault if you know how to use it. And that's what I'm here to convince people that they can do today.
And before we get your website, let's give that a shout out.
I don't have a website. I have a Facebook page.
I'm sorry, Facebook page.
That I just created. I'm very proud of it. It's called Gale, Bryan, Every Woman Can, Self-Defense for Women. But it's not just for women. I just had to pick a certain name. But there's at least 150 posts on there on what to do if your car breaks down, if you're walking, if you're driving, if you're in a hotel, if you're on vacation, if you meet a molester, a mugger, a rapist, anything that you can think of is on there. Little videos that tell you what you should do in every single situation, and also videos on how to get out of front chokes, rear chokes, fighting from the ground, whatever you want to know.
So Gale Bryan, semicolon.
No, colon.
Colon. I'll get it right eventually.
Every woman can.
Every woman can.
Self-defense for women.
And that's a Facebook page.
It's a Facebook page.
Awesome. Okay, we'll have to shout out for that.
So what should you do if you feel someone's getting too close to you?
Okay, so
Because we all have our space.
right. So your space should be at least 2 arm lengths out. So
wow.
everyone, there should be nobody in your space unless you want them there, because if he's in your space, there's no reason for him to be in your space, number one. So there's only 3 things that are going to happen if he gets into your space and you don't want him in your space. Number 1, he's going to grab you and you're going to submit. Number 2, he's going to grab you and you're going to fight. Or number 3, you're going to hit him first, which is unlikely for most women. So you don't want him in your space. So if somebody comes into your space, now I'm going to do my yell, so I want to prepare her. So if somebody's coming into your space, what you should do is you should put your hands up like this.
Do you want me up for this, or?
No, not necessarily.
Not yet. Not
so
yet.
you put your hands up like this, and you're going to say, "No, stop, back off, stay away from me," whatever. Now, if he keeps coming after you've done that, this is not a normal guy. Because a normal guy'd say, "Hey, I'm not going to hurt you," and he would stop. But if he keeps coming, get ready to fight, because this guy is telling you what type of person he is by coming towards you, even though you said, "Please don't come near me."
Please.
Or, well, you don't have to be that polite.
Right. Get that. Okay, so what targets should we be aiming for?
Okay, so for your targets, the targets that I'm going to give you are to incapacitate a person. So if you hit the eyes, he can't see you, he can't chase you. The throat, if he can't breathe, he can't chase you. The groin, if he's lying in a fetal position on the ground, he can't chase you. And the knees, if his knee is busted or dislocated, he can't chase you. So those are your 4 main targets to go
What?
for.
Now give those again. I mean, the groin I know.
Eyes, throat, groin, knees.
Eyes. Okay, got it.
Eyes, throat, groin, knees.
I'm getting ready for what's going to happen. So stay tuned.
So what and how can you use typical household items to protect yourself?
Okay, so
Okay, so now I'm standing.
Now
Okay.
it's Ron's turn.
yeah,
Okay.
and he's very generously volunteered to be my attacker, so I do appreciate that. So let's say you're standing by your mailbox and some creepy guy comes and you don't think you can get into your house before he gets to you. And you cut him, you're getting your mail and you have a magazine in your mail. You can roll your magazine up like this, really tight, and this can go here into the throat, here into the ear, into the temple, into the groin.
What? I was advised to bring a cup today, but
Yeah, but he didn't listen.
I didn't
most
listen, and I
men.
forgot to.
Okay, if you have a book in your hand, a book can go to the side of the temple, into the throat, into the groin, onto the top of the hand. If he's grabbed your wrist, you can use it right here. Or it can go under the nose like this.
Okay, so we've got so far the book.
A magazine and a book.
A magazine and a book.
Okay, if you're carrying an
Oh.
umbrella, this can go right into
Yeah,
the throat,
yeah.
into the temple.
That's
If you're gonna do the groin with an umbrella, you should do like this, like you're serving
Bowling?
a volleyball.
Oh.
So like this,
Yeah, that would hurt.
up in between the legs. Or you can also use it at the solar plexus. And you don't use it like Ruth Buzzy and Old Laugh-In.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that's just,
yeah.
it's easy to block and it's easy to see, so
Okay.
don't do that. Just go for the throat, go for the groin, and be done with it. Okay,
Okay, so
then,
umbrella.
if you're carrying a flashlight or even the little 6-inch flashlight, look how perfectly that fits right there.
Yeah.
Or into the temple, into the groin, into the wrist again.
Okay. We
Or
haven't
this
heard.
can also go up under the nose like
and
this.
break your nose. Blood
Yeah.
all over the place.
Oh, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, so you have your little screwdriver. Now, they actually did tests on whether the flat end or a Phillips works better. If you're going through meat, this guy was a butcher, so he actually got a big roast and started stabbing it to see which would go in deeper. So if you want to be picky, get a Phillips screwdriver, and this can go into
Yeah,
the ear,
yeah.
into the eye, into
Yeah.
the throat, into the hand, into the groin. Pretty much anywhere you use this is going to hurt, and you can get
Now,
it
do
for
you
like
carry that in your
a couple
purse?
bucks.
Do you recommend carrying that
No,
in?
I don't carry this, but I carry this. I carry this. This is called a Kubotan. It's named after Mr. Kubota, who it was a Japanese martial artist. It's a 6-inch stick. You can hold that. It's made out of wood, aluminum, steel, or hard rubber. And this can go in the same places, into the temple, into the throat, into the groin, onto the wrist. This way is perfect.
Yeah,
into the
that would
throat.
work.
So, and I put a little ring on mine, so if I'm walking and somebody grabbed my arm from behind, it won't drop out of my hand, and it comes right up into my hand where I need it.
Now,
and
is
I
that
can use it.
something you can get on?
These are like $2 to $20 on the internet.
Okay.
I prefer the wood or the hard rubber because they're lighter than the steel or the aluminum ones. If you don't want to look like you're carrying a weapon, because you can't take these on a plane, and you can't take them in a courthouse. But these are called a munio, and it's just a little hard piece of plastic.
Oh, like a keychain.
It's like a
Yeah, it's a keychain, and it looks really feminine. You can get them in all kinds of different colors.
Oh.
It's spelled M-U-N-I-O. It means I protect or I defend in Latin. It was created by another martial artist. And this one, you just put your hand over the top like that.
Oh.
Same thing.
Oh,
this,
wow.
this.
Oh, that would hurt.
Want to feel? See how light that is?
Yeah, I know.
It's really light. It can fit into your pocket.
That's very cool.
And you can get them in 16 different colors.
Oh, is that also an internet item?
Yeah,
that
this you can get for $9.99 on the internet.
That's $9.99.
Yeah, but you'll have it forever. It's guaranteed not to break. They have all kinds of videos on their site on how to use that. And also, if
These are good stocking stuffers.
For whom?
for all of your teenage and college-age daughters, that's you.
That's
okay.
true,
So
yeah.
if you have a pen, a Sharpie, a little thicker one would be better. Same thing, into the throat, into the ear, into the eye, onto the wrist, into the groin.
Oh.
Same thing. If you get a Bic, it'll probably break after your first shot. So if somebody gave you a nice cross pen when you retired or got promoted, those are really good ones that you can use. Now, as far as keys, now they always show this. This is what you should do with your keys. You know, you should interlace your keys between your fingers like this. And look how long this takes me to do. And then, once you do that, you're supposed to carry your hand like that. So, and this is supposed to go, this will only work if it goes into the face. So you're supposed to go like this, and then this is supposed to go here into the face.
Ooh, that would
But
be.
the only thing, when you're scared,
Yeah, that's.
you have a loss of small motor muscle memory, and it will be hard to keep your fingers tight enough. But the worse than that is when you use this to punch, these all roll up into your hand like this and hurt you, and don't hurt him.
Oh.
So don't do that.
That's
so
not
do
good.
this. Take your biggest key, put your finger over the top like an ice pick, and just use it like that. Same thing, all the areas I already told you to go to. So that's all you really need is a nice key.
Like your car key.
A car key, and if you have a fob instead of a key, you can use a fob into the temple or into the throat or onto the back of the wrist.
I mean, this is because I can see from a senior's perspective, they can do all of these things.
Well, that's my point of
Yeah.
being here.
And let's say if they have a walker, and they could mace? Does that make any sense, or is that not really?
Pepper
what-
spray.
If you use pepper spray, now it hurts like heck. It really does. It feels like your face is on fire. The only thing is, it can take a little while to,
Right.
like a couple seconds for them to be in pain. And in a couple seconds, I can go from here to over there and still get to you. And they've also shown police videos where the police, they make them get sprayed and see if they can still aim a gun and still get the perpetrator. So, and sometimes 15 to 20% of people aren't really affected by it that much.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of like immune to it. Also, you have to have your finger on the top of it everywhere you go in your hand. So are you going to walk through the mall like this? And if you do, they're going to call security on you because you look like a crazy person.
Right.
And
You know,
you can't
so-
take it into the airport, and you can't take it into the courthouse.
And what if you spray the nozzle and it just dribbles out onto your hand? Because sometimes the aerosol, after a couple years, doesn't work properly. And the same thing is, if it's windy, are you going to say, "Sir, could you stand over here so when I spray you, it doesn't
come
go
back
on
at
me?" And are you going to carry it in your own house? Because 40% of women are raped in their own home.
Wow.
So, and also it can be dropped, it can be taken away from you and used against you. So personally, I don't recommend pepper spray.
Okay.
I'd rather people used,
One of the other items.
their own body, because you have to depend on this thing. And the trouble is, if a guy comes up and he goes like this, there's all of your self-defense over there. And now you're totally helpless because you depended on something other than yourself to take care of you.
So that's the whole idea, is depend upon yourself.
Depend upon your own body, because if you take a class, you'll know how to do all this stuff, and then you can use that as an addition to what you know and not the only thing that you know.
I'm going to just, because I'm kind of hurting, so I'm going to take a sip of water.
I haven't even started.
No, I
on
know,
you
but
yet.
just I'm envisioning what could have happened to me just then, and I just need a little water to.
Oh, and I forgot these two.
Oh.
If you are loading up your groceries and somebody comes up, this can go under the chin or on top of the nose.
Oh,
And
like his
people, you
nose.
always carry water when you're running, and this fits perfectly into the throat, into the ear, onto the wrist. The same thing, okay?
Okay.
So now you also teach what you call cane foo,
Right.
which is if someone has a cane, number one, how to use it, and number two, what kind of cane to have to be able to use it.
Right. So if you're going to use a cane, or if you have to use a cane, or if you're even a young person and you've been injured and you have to use a cane for a while, the best cane to get is a wood cane because it's stronger if you're actually going to use it to hit somebody, and a hook cane because you can put it on your arm and have your hands free. And they recommend when you use a cane to use kind of a figure eight motion, so you go to the side of the neck, to the side of the neck, to the lowest floating rib, to the lowest floating rib, and to the side of the knee, to the side of the knee, into the throat,
Yeah, we know where else it's going to go.
into the solar plexus, or this way into the groin. So you grab it, you don't use the hook, you grab it right here and just go like this and pop it up into the groin. So I tell my people when
Pop
I'm
it up.
teaching, put a sock on the end of here and just stand next to your kitchen counter and put a little piece of tape on there you can aim at and just go like this until you can hit the target every single time.
It's an automatic vasectomy.
Also, this can be used to hook the knee or the foot to bring the guy down to make him fall. You can use it as a block if he's coming in with a knife. You can use it up into the throat like this.
Okay.
Or if he's grabbing your wrist or has a knife, you can slam the wrist or where the knife hand is, or if he's got your hand, slam his wrist with your cane. So if you have to use a cane, I would go and onto Cane Masters on the internet. Just look for Cane Masters. It'll tell you how to pick a cane and
Wow.
and how to use your cane. There's like 100 videos on how to use your cane.
Well, we want to go to your
Well, but
Facebook.
I'm not an expert in cane foo. I just actually learned about this like a year ago when somebody asked me to do a senior self-defense class. So I thought, okay. So look it up, and it'll teach you all kinds of stuff on how to use your cane for self-defense.
Cane Masters.
Cane Masters.
With an S.
Right.
So now you're going to show specific techniques.
So now we're going to
Just wait,
beat
let me
Ron
just
up.
get ready.
Okay.
I'm glad this is
It's
a Bloody
just-
Mary this
Just
morning.
like a little trepidation there. Now, so what I told Ron is that I can't injure him all the way until the very last technique because we want to make it through the segment. So,
Well, I want to make it through the day, but that's
okay.
okay. No, just kidding.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah, that's
huh?
my problem. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're in this is your most important technique I'm going to teach you today is called an eye gouge. And it looks like you're going to put your hands, just put your hands down for right now. You're going to put your hands over on his head, and you're going to put your thumbs like this across his eyes. So I'm not going to do it across his eyes, but I'm just going to put it right here under his eyes. And what would happen, so if you're in a front choke situation,
I'm choking her.
you put your arms in between his, reach up, grab his head, put your fingers in the eyes, and then push the head back. And so that looks like this. I'm going to do a yell here. No! That's the kind of force you're using. So then Ron would be like this because I pushed him back. So now what's open?
My groin.
The groin. So now you do your
Yeah, we get it. We get
knee
it.
to the groin. You do your knee to the groin. So, and then now that's if you have two hands free, but if you have only one hand free, so if he grabs my wrist and I only have one hand free, make your hand like a tiger claw or
Kitty cat.
an eagle claw. I wouldn't call it a kitty cat. And so all 5 fingers into the eyes. You don't use 2 because it's not as stable and you can miss, but if you do 5, you'll definitely get
Catch
something.
something.
So that looks like that. Eye! That's my key eye that I was taught to use. So you can say no or back off or whatever you want to say. The second thing is, what do we got? Hammer fist on there?
I grab.
That was the eye jab right there.
And then hammer fist. Yeah.
Hammer fist. So you make a fist. Not
me,
make a fist. Make sure that your thumb is on the outside, because if your thumb is on the inside, it's going to break. So put your thumb on the outside, and you're going to hit with this fleshy area right here. And this is going to go here into the temple, here into the side of the neck, here into the groin. The groin's really popular in self-defense.
Obviously, and rightfully so.
Okay, so that's
In
easy.
defense.
So just, and your fist can also come straight down on top of the nose like that. Or you can use it this way into the throat. If you do this, this is a kill move.
Hopefully his arms aren't longer than your arms, because then it makes it hard to reach him.
Well, then we would do kicks, which we're going to get to. So
Okay.
what's the next one after
Palm
that?
heel?
Your palm heel. So you put your hand like you're going to put a pie in somebody's face. So you put your hand here, and here's the pie. And if you had a pie, you can't turn your hand here because the pie will fall out. So you have to make sure that you keep your hand straight and level all the way to the end, and then you turn your hand. So that goes like this. It starts here. You're using your whole body, and this goes up into the nose or under the chin. So if you do under the chin, where is he again? He's set up for that knee to the
wide
groin.
open.
Set up for a knee to the
At
groin
least make it a
again.
banana cream or something like that. No.
Okay. So you either go under the nose or under the chin for your palm heel strike. And you're hitting with this fleshy area right here like you were serving a volleyball. You can also go that way
Yes.
into the groin.
Do that, yeah, okay.
And then you have hand over mouth.
Okay, so if a person has his hand over your mouth, we should be to the camera here.
Oh, okay.
So if he has his hand over your mouth, just one hand, so you take the little finger and grab it and drop your weight and turn around and then do something else, because as soon as you let go of this, unless you broke it, he's not incapacitated with a broken finger, but
it hurts.
he's in pain. Okay, so that'll get you, and it also, if you have any kind of this kind of a grab, you can also grab the little finger and turn around to get out of it.
And then you have the kicks, the
And we
infamous
have
kicks.
the kicks. So you have your front kick, which this isn't a karate kick. This is just throwing your leg out there, just straight up into the groin. Try to hit with the with your shin as opposed to actually your foot, because there's a lot of bones in the foot that can break. So, and when you kick, you want to go between the legs, not to the front, because you don't want to miss. So if you go between the legs, you're going to get something.
But
So-
what if he grabs your leg while you're kicking?
Well, number one, don't leave your leg out there like a ballerina. You know, it's supposed to be fast,
Yeah.
Okay.
like that.
And
Okay.
the yell.
Yeah, and you're doing a yell. Or if you can't do a front kick, you can do a side kick where you're lifting your leg this way and going into the knee here, or into the side of the knee here. Or if he's grabbed you from behind, you can just lift your leg up and look and kick straight back into the knee like that.
Okay. And then lastly, you have the wrist grabs.
Oh, wrist grabs. Okay. So same side wrist grab.
Oh.
This hand. Step in and lift your elbow
Yeah,
up like
it's
you're
hard,
going to
yeah,
hit him in the
yeah.
chin. Because he can't hold on, because of the thumb, it's forcing the thumb to go against the way it's supposed to be. So this is here. So if you do this kind of a thing, there's no way to get out, because the only place you can get out is right here where the opening is. So you have to get out towards the thumb. So if he has two hands on you, you reach in and grab your hand and pull it out this way, and then come back in with a hammer to the head.
That is
So
cool.
just reach your hand in, pull it out like this. And if it's a cross arm, this is a harder one because you can't just go straight up because see his thumb is now facing down. So you have to go around like this, which is isn't a keto type move. But let's say he's doing this and you can't get out because you forgot or you don't remember how to do it or he's too strong. Then don't worry about this. Just use all the other stuff that I already just taught you to
And
get
these
out of
videos
it.
are on your Facebook.
Oh, 150 at least videos on there.
Wow.
And her Facebook page is Gale Bryan.
Gale Bryan,
Colon.
Every woman can, self-defense for women.
So you teach classes. I mean, I'm just trying to.
I teach classes. Well, what happens is I also give speeches for free, which would be similar to this, where I go over
Demonstrations.
Prevention and do a demo. A lot of times for senior groups. So if you have a senior community or an HOA or a neighborhood watch or a church group or a business group, and you want me to come and give a speech, I usually do them for free. Unless you're a corporation, then there's a minimal charge. So I would do those an hour presentation for free. If you want an actual hands-on class, they're 3.5 hours where we go through like 20 techniques and also how to fight from the ground. And those are like $45 for 3.5 hours. I also do classes for little kids, like 6 to 11, where we role play situations little kids get into and what they should say to get out of them, and then some simple self-defense that they can break and run away to safety. So if you want a free speech, I will come to your place.
That's great because I mean, again, the seniors. Patty and I deal mainly with the senior community, and it may not be statistically as many as the rest of the population, but it's when it happens.
Still important.
It's still important, and they need to be protected because, they're walking slower. They're a little bit. They may be more easily distracted from a memory situation and things like that. So they're vulnerable. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. This was very informative.
You're welcome.
Well, the senior communities, we got to get you out there and talking to them, and the senior centers and things and those type of groups have to get to know more about what's going on.
Right, and I've already been to at least talked to 225 seniors over 18 different venues in the last year.
Wow.
So just call me, either call my phone number or you can go on Facebook and message me, tell me what you want.
Wait, we haven't said the phone number.
Phone number is 858-737-4082.
And you can call any time of day. You can take a message any time of day.
Gail, did we miss any?
Oh, we missed a lot of stuff, but we don't have time.
We don't have time. Okay. Well, Gail, thank you so much for being here today. Again, this is one of probably the top, the top subjects in elder abuse and elder crimes is because again, keeping them safe in their home is a very important topic today. So we thank you for sharing, and we thank you for making all of that available, and we thank you for not hurting me.
You're welcome.
Seriously. So again, thank you for staying with us today. This is Senior Stay A Go, Patty Gerke, Ron Greenwald. We thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.